And we are back. This intro screen, fucking title screen music, kind of goes hard. Welcome back to the stream from the BRB. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. I really hope people end up liking this Process of Elimination playthrough. You know what I mean? Because I mean, we're still early on in it. This is only our third stream. But I have obviously a feeling that this is easy to be overshadowed by other stuff. Kind of like in general. I'm not even talking about like number of views and stuff. But I'm just talking about like mind share of whatever mind share there is on the channel. Both by me and by anyone who watches. But I am very interested in how this kind of shakes out. And I just hope people... Also, not to be like, oh, poor pity me or anything. But it's like, I was originally going to hold off on this until I was absolutely done with Higurashi, which is looking to be like another like potential like several weeks or so. And I was like, I'm not going to do like a full on like another visual novel until it's done. And then, but then I had a hankering to do it and like an itch to like get to this game finally. But like on my end, like it just, again, it's just a video game and it's just a channel thing. But like, it's another game where I have to like constantly like, I'm just reading a bunch. And I'm still always so self-conscious about my reading of stuff on the channel, even though it's been years and years now and it is what it is and I shouldn't be. But I'm always like, I gotta read. I you know, I don't have too varied of voices. I'm not a good impressionist. I don't have good voice work. So then I'm just like, I'm trying my best and I'm reading and I'm slipping up on words. And then some Japanese names pop up. Now I'm talking about this and Higurashi at the same time, but... and then I mispronounced some Japanese name and I'm like, I don't fucking know what I'm doing. Is this even fun to watch? Is this fun to listen to my voice drone on and on? My very annoying voice. All these CGs. Wait, we already have 24% of all the CGs? Really? Okay, so if you'll recall, at the end of the last time we played this, which I think it was either Sunday or Saturday. I think Sunday. We had done a lot of the tutorial, but kind of like the investigation. What you would think of like an investigation in like a Danganronpa game. In this game, it seems to have like very much more than a Danganronpa. It's like gamified the investigation thing instead of just like walking around and then like clicking on things to pick up like truth bullets. It's very much like, you know, the game boardy like thing. You go around, stats on the characters, you gotta do some math things, and then you kind of just, it's kind of like, I don't know how difficult it's gonna be, especially because that first one seemed like very tutorial-like, but I'd be curious how difficult that actually is, or if it's just like, hey, if you're kind of good at managing and planning, then you should be fine to pick up everything you want. So we had saved literally right after the investigation. So now we're going to see. I'm also curious to see how this all gets put together. Now, I'd imagine this isn't like Danganronpa. I imagine we don't have like a trial. I assume we're not going to ape Danganronpa that much, right? There's no way we have a class or team trial or something. Right? I think I got another dust ball in my glasses. There. Very distracting to read when I've got a thing on my glasses, you know? Wonderful. You gave such clear instruction. I truly am grateful to have you with me. I'm telling you, just like I had called Senior Detective being the first guy who died, and I was right about that. It feels like we're setting up Ideal Detective to either be very soon to be dead, very soon to be a person who does a killing, or to be like an evil, you know, final boss something, you know. The way she's just a little too nice. She seems just a little too nice and helpful and important of a character to just be a nice and friendly and important character. You know what I mean? It feels like they're setting her up for something big. I just don't know if it's going to be soon or like late game. But yeah, that was the whole thing. She was walking me through the investigation part of the game here. I told the others to meet by the fireplace. We should hurry there ourselves. I have no idea how long these chapters actually are, but it would be cool if we actually finish this first chapter tonight. But also, I hesitate to say that I might not be able to stream super late tonight, and that's kind of why we cut Higurashi not real hour quite short, because I wanted enough time in this, but I have to be off kind of early. So apologies about that. It's time for all of us to get to the bottom of this intricate, baffling case. Excuse me, Ideal? Oh, it was on a question. He was saying, excuse me, Ideal? Help! I call out to stop Ideal Detective as we make our way back. Please, tell me. What's the real reason you brought me to this island? Oh yeah, because she was cut off and interrupted. I can't help but ask. I need to know the rest of what she was going to say earlier. I didn't think this game had the balls. I thought it was going to be something... See, like I was saying, I thought she was going to get killed off or something and he would never get the reason, right? That just seemed too obvious. After all, why would someone as bumbling as myself be invited to stand amongst a talented crowd of detectives like this? And for the chief of the DA to place so much trust in me, it's nothing short of bizarre. I understand my limitations better than anyone. My talents are undeserving of your good graces. But the real kicker is the way you clearly know me. Just what is it you want from me? What's a nobody like me even doing on this island? My shouts echo down the hall as every pent-up question I have comes bursting out at once. I just can't understand why this world-famous detective would act so cryptic toward me. Sorry, I've been a bit mean-spirited, haven't I? Ideal gives a wry smirk, then scratches her cheek. My inner devil wanted to see that bewildered look of yours, and it got the better of me. I'd been planning to keep quiet until you noticed. This is our first meeting in 10 years, after all. Surely you can understand how I'd want to surprise you a bit, Wata. The hell is she going on about? Our first meeting in 10 years. Wait, did you just call me Wata? Could it really be? My heart catches in my throat. Only one person, someone I met 10 years ago, called me by that name. But there's just no way. Wait. I've dreamt of this reunion for ages. Inviting me here wasn't completely outrageous now that you've been scouted into the DA. My real name is Saika Sharonfold Holmes. 10 years ago, you saved my life. That's impossible. That's already, what a twist. Do I believe her? My voice comes out in a shout before I curb it. I breathe deeply, but the shock won't subside. Ideal detective is Saika? I can't be. I saw her covered in blood right before me.
サイカちゃんが生きているわけない。僕は彼女の無念を晴らしたくて、これまで頑張ってきたのに。それなのに。
There's no way Saika is alive. Avenging her had been my motivation all this time, but now... Calm yourself. Ideal comes close and softly cups my cheek. I'm startled by the sudden intimacy, but her arm around my waist keeps me in place.
君はどうやらあの牢獄での記憶を忘却してしまっているようだ。よほど君にとって深い心の傷だったのだな。
You seem to have lost your memories of our time in that prison. It must have left quite the emotional scar.
無理に思い出そうとして心が壊れてしまってはいけない。徐々に思い出していけばいいさ。あの日、どのようにして私を救い出してくれたのかをな。
No need to force yourself. It'll only cause your heart grief. Remember little by little about how you rescued me that day.
僕は本当にあなたを。
Did I really?
ああ、先ほどみんなの前で語った言葉に嘘はない。君は確かに私を救ってくれた。だから今もこうして生きている。
Yes. What I said to the others wasn't a lie. You truly did save me. You're the reason I'm alive today.
敵は私が思うよりもずっと狡猾で冷酷だった。私一人の力では探偵同盟は全滅を免れない。君の手助けが必要なんだ。
But our enemy is far more cold and calculating than anticipated. I've no hope of preventing the DA's eradication alone. I need your help, Watto.
君をこの場に呼んだのは本当に君の力が必要だからだよ。今はただこの言葉を信じてくれ。
I summoned you here because I'm in desperate need of your abilities. For now, please, just believe me. Ideal gazes at me with a sadness that reminds me of the Saika I once knew. That vulnerable, girlish expression taking the place of her usual sagacity. I assume it's not Saga City. Sagacity was nearly identical. What a word. But I can't help but wonder if this is truly the same person.
本当にサイカちゃんなの。
Is it really you, Saika?
ようやくその名前で呼んでくれたな。嬉しいよ。
You finally used my name. I couldn't be happier. A relieved smile spreads across Ideal Detective's face. She didn't answer the question. I don't believe her. I don't trust her. You know what? Something is real fishy about this. I've played enough of these games. I wasn't born yesterday or the day before. I mean, clearly they're trying to set up some kind of mystery because as he's recounted the story to us as the player previously. He saw her die. So am I to believe that he's an unreliable narrator in that story? Or that this is some kind of trick? It's just a little too convenient that he says he saw this person die. He wanted to get revenge. Oh, she's actually still alive. She summoned me here. A relieved smile spreads across Ideal Detective's face. Doesn't seem like an act. She's sincerely happy to be reunited with me.
覚えておくといい。私たち探偵が本名を伝えるのは心から相手を信頼した時だけだ。
Remember, we detectives only share our true names with those we completely trust.
誰が疑おうとも、君が君自身を信じられずとも、たとえ君に疑念を向けられようとも、私は君を信じ続けよう。
No matter who doubts or suspects you, be it the others or even yourself, I will always be on your side.
だから、私の活躍を隣で見守っていてくれ。そうしていれば、きっと真実も思い出せるはずだろうからな。
So stay by mine and observe my work. I'm certain you'll recall the truth if you do. Ideal steps back from me, her expression already reverting to its usual dignified air. I'm gonna actually... Oop. Okay, turn that up there. Ideal steps back from me, her expression already reverting to its usual dignified air. Between her countenance as chief of the DA and as a vulnerable girl, I'm not sure which is real. There's so much cause for suspicion. And yet...
まだ僕には何が正しいのか分かりません。
I still don't know the truth.
だけど、今のあなたの言葉は真実だと信じます。いや、信じたいんです。
But I'll choose to believe in your words, which is to say, I want to believe them.
だって今まで何度も過去に戻ってサイカちゃんを救いたいって考えてきましたから。
I've played the past out in my mind countless times, wishing I could have saved you, Saika. I wasn't able to do so back then, so I truly want to believe what she's saying, that Saika's alive. Even if those sweet words are more deceit, or mere deceit.
100% 信じたわけじゃありません。言われた通り、隣で見極めさせてもらいますよ。
But still, I don't buy it 100%. Like you said, I'll stick with you and try to figure things out.
理想さんの言葉が真実かどうか。
So as whether or not you're telling the truth, such as...
ああ、望むところだよ、ワト君。私の一挙一動をつぶさに観察するといい。
That's all I wish for, Watto. Observe my every move with your utmost attention.
一つだけお願いするとしたら、理想さん呼びは勘弁してもらいたいな。他人行儀すぎてこそばゆいよ。
If I have one request, however, is that you stop calling me ideal. It's far too formal for my liking.
二人きりの時くらい、昔のようにサイカちゃんと呼んでくれないか？
When it's only the two of us, would you mind calling me Saika, like back in the old days?
いや、それはあなたが本当にサイカちゃんだって信じたわけじゃありませんし。
Wait just a second. I didn't mean to actually believe you're Saika yet.
変なところで意地っ張りなのは昔から変わらないな。
Stubborn as ever, aren't you? And always over the silliest things.
じゃあせめて普段からホームズ呼びで頼むよ。こちらの名前は他の探偵にも知れ渡っているから問題ないしな。
Very well. Address me as Holmes then. The other detectives know me by this name, so that shouldn't be a problem.
わかりました。ホームズさん。
Got it. Holmes.
よし、有効の処方を踏めたな、ワト君。
This is our first step toward friendship, Watto. Holmes' face beams with a genuine elation. The fact that it's moving me so easily is proof enough that I'm a rookie detective. Come on, Watto Hojo, get it together. The D-pad pings with a notification. The others must have gathered in the living room by now.
さて、それではこの事件にケリをつけるとしようか。
Now, shall we close the book on this case? I follow Holmes as she heads to the living room. I have no clue what she could want from me, but I decide to trust her for now. If I stay by her side, the truth behind why I was brought here may finally come to light. So many people. Oh yeah, I forgot the asshole guy. All 13 detectives, including Holmes and myself, gather around the room. Holmes adds a few logs to the crackling fire before turning to address us.
やあ、探偵諸君。それぞれの役割をこなしてくれてありがとう。
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank each of you for doing your part.
みんなのおかげで、老子探偵を八つ裂きにしたトリックの正体をつかめたよ。あとはその全容を明らかにしていくだけだ。
Due to your efforts, we have uncovered the method used to dismember a senior detective. Now it's simply a matter of laying it out.
教えてください、ホームズさん。一体犯人は誰なんですか？
Then please tell us, Holmes. Who is the culprit?
実に庶民らしい落ち着きのない男ですわね。犯人の前にまず明らかにしないといけないものがあるでしょ。
Oh, oh, how like a, excuse me, how like a commoner, hiccuped, to heedlessly jump the gun. Before revealing the culprit, is there not a matter we must clarify first?
明らかにしないといけないものって
What matter would that be?
それは老子探偵をどのように殺害したかですわ。
Why, the method by which Senior Detective was slain, of course.
家族くんの言う通りだよ。まずは誰がしたかよりも誰にできたかから考え、事件の外堀を埋めていこう。
I agree. Instead of focusing on who did it, let's consider who could have done it and eliminate some of the obstacles in our way.
家族くんの考えではどのように老子探偵は殺害されたのだと思う？
How do you suppose Senior Detective was killed, Posh?
ズバリシャンデリアのトラップと連動したトリックですわ。
Put simply, with an artifice working in concert with the chandelier trap.
シャンデリアのトラップと連動？それって僕が扉を開けた時に作動した
In concert with the chandelier trap? You mean I set it into motion when I opened the door? The chandelier had crashed down the moment I stepped through the entrance of the manor. After that, I was out cold until the DA arrived. The culprit utilized the trap, but for what purpose?
無能くん、粘土で遊んだことはあるかい？
Have you ever played with clay, incompetent?
粘土をできるだけきれいに両断しようと思ったなら、君はどうする？刃物などを使ってもなかなかうまくいかないだろう？
Say you wanted to cut it in half as cleanly as possible. How would you do it? Even a knife would give you some trouble, no?
学校ではテグスなどの細い糸を巻きつけて引っ張る方法を学んだ覚えがあります。
Back in school, I remember we learned to wrap a nylon string around the clay and pull it to split it apart.
グッド。
Good.
ならば次の質問だ。
Good. Now for the next question.
もし粘土を切り刻む原理で鋭利なワイヤーを人間に巻きつけ、思い切り引っ張ればどうなるかな？
Following that principle for cutting clay, what would happen if you wrapped a sharp wire around a person, then tightened it?
それって
You mean... Senior Detective's mutilated body flashed across my mind, and my skin prickles. That wire was definitely sharp enough. If you were to wrap it around someone and yank it, they would be sliced apart almost effortlessly, just like clay.
察しがついたみたいだね。そう。ワイヤーで何かを切ろうと思うなら、巻きつけた後に引っ張るだけでいい。
You get the idea, I presume. If one wanted to cut something with a wire, their best option would be to wind it around and pull.
でもさ、粘土じゃなくて人間の体じゃん？人力で引っ張って簡単に切れるもんなの？ただでさえ引っ張りにくそうなワイヤーなのにさ。
Clay is one thing, but could you really pull hard enough to, like, slice a guy up? Because FYI, that stuff does not look easy to handle.
いい質問だな、渋谷くん。そう。このトリックの肝はどのようにワイヤーを引っ張ったかだ。
A salient question downtown. Indeed, the crux of this trick is how the wire was tightened.
地下で老子探偵に絡まった状態のワイヤーを引っ張るにはどのような方法があるだろうか。家族くんならわかるかな？
So, what method could have been used to pull the wire once it was wrapped around Senior Detective? Any ideas, Posh? Posh Spice.
犯人も少しは知恵を使ったようですけれど、私の高貴な脳細胞にはお見通しでしたわよ。
The culprit may have had a dash of cleverness up their sleeve, but my upper-class intellect saw right through it.
ズバリ犯人はシャンデリアの落下を利用してワイヤーを引っ張り上げたのですわ。
Put simply, the culprit used a falling chandelier to pull the wire taut.
シャンデリアの落下を利用するってどうやって？シャンデリアのある場所は1階のエントランスホールですけど、現場は地下室でしょ？
How would they do that? The chandelier is up in the entrance hall, but the crime took place down the basement, right?
やれやれ、庶民にもわかるようエレガントに説明して差し上げましょう。
Dear me. Very well. I shall elucidate the matter so elegantly that even a commoner would understand.
シャンデリアにワイヤーを結びつけて動きが連動するようにしたんだよ。シャンデリアが落下すると自動でワイヤーが巻き上げられる仕組みよね。
The wire was attached to the chandelier so they would move in tandem. When the latter fell, the former would wind up automatically.
ちょっと私に説明させなさ
Excuse you, this explanation is mine to give. Posh detective cuts Holmes off with a huff, then continues where she left off.
犯人は老子探偵を薬か何かで眠らせた後、床へと落下させた状態のシャンデリアにワイヤーをくくりつけたのですわ。
After sedating Senior Detective, the culprit affixed the wire to the chandelier, which had been lowered to the floor. I'm gonna take a look at this diagram going on. Culprit, Senior Detective there on the ground. After sedating him, the culprit affixed the wire to the chandelier, which had been lowered. Oh, okay.
その後、床の隙間を通してワイヤーをエントランスホールから地下室へと垂らせば準備完了。ワイヤーによって2つの空間がつながったのですわ。
Then, they threaded the wire through the gaps in the entrance hall floor, allowing them to connect it with the basement.
床にワイヤーを通せるものなんですか？
Would a wire really fit through the floorboards, though?
エントランスホールの床は地下に音が届くよう床板に若干の隙間が空いていましたでしょ。細いワイヤーを通して地下に垂らすことは造作もありませんわ。
Certainly. If the cracks are large enough for sound to travel between the two spaces, a thin wire should pose no issue.
地下に届いたワイヤーを老子探偵の体に結びつけた後、シャンデリアを天井へと引き上げれば準備完了。
Once the wire fed down to the basement was wound around Senior Detective, the chandelier was raised back into position.
シャンデリアが天井から落下すると、その動きに連動してワイヤーも引っ張られるという八つ咲き装置の完成ですわ。
When the chandelier came plummeting down later on, it pulled the wire taut and dismembered the victim in one fell swoop.
以上のようにして犯人は自らの手を汚さず犯行時刻の隠蔽も果たした上で老子探偵を殺害してみせたのでしょう。
And voila! The culprit managed to kill Senior Detective without dirtying their hands and successfully obscured the time of death.
見事な推理だ。しかし確証が欲しいな。ワト君はこのトリックの痕跡を覚えているかい？
A superb deduction, but I would like some conclusive evidence. Watto, do you remember the trace this gimmick left behind? The trace it left behind. Now that she mentions it, something suspicious did catch my attention during the investigation. Trust level. Oh, we're finally alright, here we go. There we go. This is where we're doing it. Now that you mentioned something suspicious did catch my attention during the investigation. I'm gonna assume it's not Armor Detective. So what were my choices? Scratches on the chandelier or switch on the wall? What is a switch on the wall? Now, I'd rather, I'm not going to look up answers or anything, but I am going to try hard. And obviously, it's been a few days since we did the whole investigation thing, so I think it's not cheating by checking my evidence. As it turns out, its purpose is to hoist up the chandelier trap. Scratched chandelier. There are thin marks on the sturdy chandelier as if it was scratched by something thin. So she wants to know the trace it left behind. Now that you mentioned it, something suspicious did catch my attention during the investigation. I'm going to assume it is the scratches. Armor Detective seems like a bad choice. I hope I'm not wrong when I pick this, but it would be the thin scratches. The switch on the wall being for the lowering and everything, that doesn't necessarily point to... That's just a mechanism. I'm going to say this. Got it, baby. How difficult. The scratches on the chandelier. Those must have been left by the wire when it scraped against the metal.
Excellent. その通りだよ、
Good.
ワト君。
Excellent. That's precisely right, Watto.
あのシャンデリアの構造はかなり頑強だ。よほど鋭利なものでも使わない限り傷つかない。
The chandelier is quite durable, so if anything were to cause a scratch, it would have to be extraordinarily sharp.
それこそ鋼鉄すら切断可能なワイヤーでも使わない限りはな。
Like a wire saw capable of cutting through even steel, perhaps.
ならホームズの言う通り、ワイヤーとシャンデリアの罠が犯行に利用されたことは間違いないだろうね。
Then it's just like you said. The wire saw and chandelier trap were paired up for this little stunt.
ムノー君、気分はどうだい？
So, how does it feel, incompetent?
気分 どういうこと？
How does what feel?
鈍いな。シャンデリアの罠によって老子探偵が殺されたということはだよ。
Slow on the uptake, aren't we? What I mean is, how does it feel to know that senior detective was killed by the chandelier trap?
君が洋館の扉を開かなければ老子探偵は八つ咲きにならずに済んだってことじゃないか。
He wouldn't have gotten hacked into pieces if you never opened that door, you know? Shock lances through my spine, and I begin to break out in a cold sweat. So, it was all because of me. If I hadn't triggered the trap, then Senior Detective would still be alive. Even now, I can feel the doorknob in my hand. To think that at that moment, a man was being sliced apart right below my feet.
僕が作動させたトラップで
The trap that I triggered.
初めて人を殺してしまった気分はどうだい？まるで泥の沼に浸ったみたいに悪くない気分だろう。大丈夫。すぐになれるさ。
How does your first kill feel? Like sinking into the mud of a swamp, huh? Don't worry, you'll get used to it.
下がれ、下道探偵。私がうんと言うまで口を閉じていろ。
Stand down, renegade detective. Keep your lips shut until I say otherwise.
そんなに睨むなよ。そそられるじゃないか。
Don't glower at me like that. It makes me tingle all over. Oh, brother, this guy.
警告するのは2度までだ。口を閉じろ。
This is your second and final warning. Shut your mouth. I hope she just kills him. That'd be fun to watch. Cowed by Holmes, renegade detective seems to cut his losses, backing down. Holmes then turns to me, all signs of anger wiped clean from her face.
無能君、動揺するのはわかるが、落ち込むのは後にしよう。
I know you're shaken, incompetent, but you need to set that grief aside for now.
みんなも無能君を糾弾したり疑ったりするのは後にしてくれよ。入り口のトラップは他の探偵でも発動は避けられなかったものだ。
And the rest of you, save your blame and suspicions. Any of us could have triggered the trap at the door. It was unavoidable.
それにむしろ無能君はいい働きをしたと言っていい。無能君の行動のおかげで犯人の計画は致命的な狂いが生じてしまったんだ。
As a matter of fact, Incompetent actually did something remarkable. His actions forced the culprit to make a fatal error.
僕がいい働きを
I did something remarkable? What could she mean by that? As much as I want to demand the answer, I wait to hear the rest of her deduction.
なあ、家族の姉さんよ。犯人はシャンデリアの落下を利用してワイヤーを引っ張ったんだよな。
Yo, Posh. The crook used the fallen chandelier to cinch the wire, right?
ですからそう申していますでしょ。ワイヤーはシャンデリアに連動して。
Did I not say as much? The wire worked in concert with the chandelier.
でもよ、普通にくくりつけたんじゃシャンデリアに合わせてロース探偵が上下の移動を繰り返すだけにならねえか？引っ張り上げられた時に殺されたわけじゃねえんだろ。
Yeah, but wouldn't that just move Senior up and down with the chandelier? That wouldn't really be enough to kill him, right? What?
ヤマト君の言いたいことはわかるよ。地下の老子探偵の体を切断するのに必要なのはワイヤーを引っ張り上げる力だからな。
I see what you're saying, Rowdy. For the wire to dismember Senior Detective, a strong upward force would be required.
落下運動に連動しても切断はできないだろうと言いたいのだろう。
And you're suggesting that using the downward momentum of the chandelier wouldn't have accomplished that, correct?
落下運動？まあよく言ってることはわからねえけど、多分そんな感じだぜ。
Okay, I didn't say it out loud, but I was thinking the same thing. But I wasn't confident enough to be like, because I didn't know how deep I needed to trust this game's like systems for killing a victim, right? But like when they did the first initial diagram, I was like, wouldn't they have to move in opposite directions? Like I don't exactly know how you would set it up, especially, but I was like, if you just move it, there isn't like you would need like a pulley mechanism. Because as it is right there, as the chandelier just goes up and down, the game is right by pointing it out now that he would just also go up and down. You would need the chandelier to go down and then like senior detective's body to yank like up past a certain thing, or like with enough force or something. Like you would imagine like a pulley, like even then you would have to kind of like set this up differently, but you would need them moving in opposite things. And just a simple tie like this, as diagrammed, it would just be like he would just move at the same rate depending on how loose or how much slack there is in the wire. You need like one other, there needs to be like an additional mechanism to this. I don't remember how I read this. Downward momentum, not sure I follow you there, but yeah, something like that, says Ratty.
確かにこれは困ったぞ。一体どうすればいいのかな。解説を頼めるかい、家族くん。
You're right, this is a sticking point. Whatever to do. Could you provide us with a rejoinder, Posh? Also, I remembered and I forgot to check. Didn't we get lexicon things because of the during an investigation thing? Kyo incident. Let's read these. This phrase indicates events, individuals, creatures, or phenomena that are deemed to have a potential impact on the future of the country. The Q stands for quintessence, but there are many theories on what this means, and mysteries abound. Any subject designated a Q incident is limited to authorized individuals or permitted to employ extra legal measures in dealing with them. If, however, a Q incident is not deemed to be a threat, then no restrictions are placed on its activities. As a matter of fact, Ideal Detective is one of the few individuals designated as a Q incident, and she leads the DA free of restrictions. D-pad. Members of the DA are provided with their personal tablet device. Each D-pad, detective pad, has a symbol and unique ID code engraved on the back, allowing the device to function as proof of the owner's affiliation with the DA, in addition to serving as their sole means of communication with HQ. D-pads possess special communication systems, so contact is still possible even in remote areas without regular network coverage. Additionally, it contains detailed maps of the entire country, as well as various in-depth data on cases, making it an indispensable tool for any detective. Apart from that, D-pads possess myriad other features and classified information, and thus have several layers of internal encryption. Their exteriors are also crafted from a special material that makes physical damage, disassembly, and analysis almost impossible. Upon reaching rank 50 or beyond, a detective may have their device size and design customized as a reward. Oh, that's cool. Within the DA, having one's own custom D-pad is the mark of a full-fledged detective. That's cool. I want a custom. Foiled bombing at Tokyo government building. The government building turns into a giant robot during emergencies, right? That I gotta see. The case began with a simple prank phone call. The culprit, who called themselves Jack the Bomber, coerced the authorities into playing their games, which they had modeled after a variety of well-known urban legends. Threatening to bomb the government's main offices should his players lose a game, Jack toted the police while holding thousands of lives hostage. However, once the Alliance dispatched Ideal Detective, she bested each and every game with aplomb. Upon apprehending the culprit, who had been enjoying the show from the front row, she was able to prevent the bomb's detonation. Ideal's success with this case garnered her widespread recognition within the police force, ultimately earning the DA their trust. And foiled mass shooting in Akihabara. One day, a puzzling announcement of a planned mass shooting was posted to the internet out of the blue. Authorities wrote it off as a prank, but Ideal Detective, who had managed to crack the post's hidden message, realized the gravity of how many lives were in danger. While police blindly attempted to set up a stakeout, Ideal headed to a certain maid cafe and requested that the server draw a message for her and ketchup on her omelet rice. Give it everything you've got, okay? I just need you to write, I am the culprit. Realizing that Ideal had seen through their entire ploy, the culprit abandoned the plan. Thus, Ideal was able to close the case before it could produce even a single victim. Give it everything you got, okay? I just need you to write, I am the culprit. Interesting. Alright, Posh. Go ahead.
それはですね。
Right, well, you see, the thing is,
無能君、助け舟をあげてくれ。最初に家族君の推理を行っていたのが誰であったか覚えているだろう。
Throw our lifeline, incompetent. Do you recall who was initially investigating with Posh? There was only one detective who was initially investigating with Posh at the start, and that was Who was with Posh? It was not Gourmet. It's not gonna be on the evidence list, is it? Who was with Posh? Was it Techie or Doleful? Techie was with us. Right? Oh man, this is what do we get? It was, initially investigating. I'm trying to think. Was it Doleful? Because Doleful wasn't with us originally. Posh wasn't with us originally, so I'm trying to think of the people that weren't with us originally. Only one detective was initially investigating with Posh at the start. Ah, for fuck's sake. Also, not only do I not care to look it up, I'm also too lazy to look it up, honestly. I'm not gonna, like, what's the fun in that? I'm trying to just think, fuck, I didn't think I'd have to memorize, oh man. Who was with Posh? Watch it be Gourmet, and I'm just so wrong. Was Gourmet with Posh? At what point was... Is it Gourmet, actually? Actually, it might have been Gourmet now that I think about it. Because I'm trying to think. The people that were originally... I'm thinking back to when the characters were introduced. And I'm grouping them. And now that I think about it, I'm remembering the original CGs. Or whatever, I'm pretty sure, back. Because we had to go downstairs, I think. I'm going to say Gourmet. Oh! I almost counted Gourmet out, but I recalled the CG stuff. Gourmet, am I right to assume you figured out how the chandelier's downward momentum was used to kill Senior Detective?
あらあら、美味しいところを取るみたいだから黙っているつもりだったけれど、そういうわけにもいかないようね。
Oh my, you look like you were just about to get to the tasty part, so I didn't want to interrupt. But if you insist.
難しい話じゃないわ。犯人は滑車装置の原理でロースちゃんの体とシャンデリアとワイヤーで結びつけたのよ。
The culprit used a pulley system to connect the wire, and Dear Senior along with it to the chandelier. Piece of cake.
そうそう、それですわ。滑車装置を利用したの
Wow, I
です
actually
わ。
called it exactly with pulley.
私ってば度忘れしてしまうだなんて。
I'm so smart. Of course, they used a pulley system. It was so obvious, I suppose it just slipped my mind.
滑車装置って井戸のつるべなどに使われているあれですか？それを使えばどうなるんですか？
A pulley system? Like what you'd use in a well? How would that help in this situation?
難しい話じゃないわ。図を描きながら解説してあげるわね。
It's not as tricky as it seems. Here, I'll break it down for you with a diagram.
シャンデリアの罠は一度落下した後も壁のスイッチを押すとゆっくり天井まで引き上げられることで何度でも使える仕組みだったわ。
No matter how many times a chandelier has been dropped, it can always be raised back up to the ceiling using the wall switch.
この引き上げる力がとってもパワフルでね。人より体重の重い私でも軽々と引き上げてくれたの。
That mechanism can bear considerable weight, so much so that it was able to lift a voluptuous vixen like myself with ease.
私よりずっと身軽なロースちゃんの体なら重さに加わっても全然平気でしょうね。
Hoisting Dear Senior up would have been even easier, considering how much lighter he is.
シャンデリアの上に乗って一緒に登ったんですか？
You're saying you rode the chandelier up to the ceiling?
ええ、楽しかったわよ。それに天井の近くで貴重な手がかりも見つけられたわ。
Oh, yes, it was quite the wild ride. Plus, I discovered a juicy clue when I reached the top.
それはワイヤーを引っ掛けていたと思われるフック。それも登山用の強靭なもので凶器のワイヤー層が擦れても平気な材質のね。
It was a hook, the one the wire was probably hung on. It's designed for mountaineering, so it'd be sturdy enough to withstand the tension.
そのフックを通してシャンデリアにワイヤーをくくりつければ簡単な滑車装置の出来上がり。ついでにこの状態でワイヤーを力いっぱい引っ張ればワイヤーの緩みも調整できるわ。
With the wire draped over the hook, then tied to the chandelier, you could adjust the slack in the wire with a sharp jerk.
ロースちゃんは天井に貼り付け状態で何もできなかったはず。恐ろしいトリックよね。
Dear Senior would have been bound to the ceiling, unable to do a thing. What a horrible trick.
老子探偵の獅子に見られた絵師の痕跡は相当長い間天井に貼り付け状態だった証拠だな。ゾッとしないよ。
The traces of necrosis on Senior Detective's limbs indicate that he was pinned up there for quite some time. I shudder to think of it.
滑車装置さえ作ってしまえばロープを使うなりしてシャンデリアから降りて準備は完了。誰かが扉を開くのを待つだけというわけですわね。
Yeah, there you go. With this pulley system in place, all that would remain is to descend the chandelier with a rope and wait for someone to open the door.
降りる時に使ったロープはどうやって回収を？
But how would you gather up the rope you used to climb down the chandelier?
おバカさんですわね。そんなのいくらでも回収方法がありますわ。
Oh, you precious dimwit, you. There's so many ways one could collect it after the fact.
例えばもやい結びやスリップノットにすれば降りた後に引っ張ってほどくこともできる。今度ゆっくりと教えてあげるよ。
For example, if you used a bowline or slip knot, you could undo it upon reaching the ground with a simple tug. I'll show you sometime. I'm at a loss for how to respond when presented with these not options as if they were obvious possibilities. Aside from armor, no one seems phased, as if it was just common detective knowledge. I really am terrifyingly out of my depth here.
以上のようにして犯人は私たちがこの島を訪れるよりずっと前にトリックの準備を済ませ洋館を後にしたんだ。
There you have it. The culprit finished their preparations long before we even arrived on the island and put the manor behind them.
そして僕が扉を開いてトラップが作動したことでワイヤーは滑車装置で巻き上げられて老子探偵の体を引き裂いたんですね。
And then I opened the door, triggering the trap, yanking the wire up with the pulley system and slicing Senior Detective apart. To think that someone could orchestrate such a kill while their victim remained down in the basement. I just can't fathom it. I feel a shiver run down my spine at the hidden culprit's ingenuity, as well as their barbarity.
なんと卑劣な犯行か。自分の手を汚さないばかりか、他者の手を借りて惨殺するなど許せないのである。
What a craven deed! Using another's hand instead of dirtying one's own to commit so heinous an act. It is beyond forgiveness.
僕がさっきエントランスホールで見つけた切れた絨毯の断片はワイヤーを地下から上に通していた証拠なんだよね。
So, the torn piece of carpet I found in the entrance hall was cut by the wire as it shot up from the basement, right?
ええ、断面を調べてみましたが 100% ワイヤーによって切れたものです。
Correct. I analyzed the fragment and can attest with 100% certainty that it was severed by the wire.
おそらく引っ張り上げられた際にワイヤーが床の隙間を通って移動し絨毯が切れたんです。今回の犯人の思考不足が伺えますね。
This kid reminds me of like Chadley from Final Fantasy VII Remake. Except he's in a chair. When the wire was pulled up through the gap, it shifted and sliced the carpet in one spot. Therefore, the culprit never did a trial run.
証拠を残しすぎなのですわ。この偉大なるピーター・トン家の後継ぎ家族探偵を相手取るには役者不足だったようですわね。
Oh, ho, ho, ho. How sloppy they must be to leave so many clues. They never stood a chance at besting me, heir to the illustrious Pinkerton name.
だけど、それじゃあ誰が犯人なのだろうね。
But the question still remains. Who is responsible for this?
それはおそらく扉を開いたそこの庶民ではありませんの？もともと怪しかったのですし。
Huh? Is it not clearly this commoner who opened the door? He was disreputable from the start.
いや、このトリックは準備さえ整えてしまえば、あとは誰かがこの洋館の扉を開くのを待つだけでいい。
No. Once the trick was set up, the culprit would merely have to wait for someone to inevitably open the door.
つまり誰にでも犯行が可能なトリックなんだ。入り口を開いた張本人である無能君だけでなく、私たち探偵同盟のメンバーでもね。
In other words, it could have been anyone. Triggering the trap may make incompetent the prime suspect, but he's still one of our own.
ちょっと社畜さん、何をおっしゃいますの？私たちは今日本土から数時間かけてこの島に来たんですのよ。
Now hold on here, workaholic. What could you possibly mean by that? We spent hours traveling here from the mainland today.
私たちに犯行など不可能に決まっていますわ。浅ましすぎる発言はたとえ庶民といえども許しませんわよ。
In what universe could any of us have been responsible for this crime? Your suggestion is deplorable, even for a commoner.
研究棟の人らが殺されたのって1日以上前でしょ。だったら今集まってるうちらにも犯行は可能なんじゃね？
Those peeps at Snarks were killed like over a day ago, right? Doesn't that mean one of us could have done it back then?
この島の人たちを皆殺しにして老子探偵を殺すトリックを準備してから本土に戻って何食わぬ顔でうちらに合流する。
Killer could have wiped out everyone on the island, set up the trap, and then bounced to meet up with us and put on the innocent act.
もし犯人があの八つ咲き校ならそれくらい余裕でやるっしょ。
If the culprit's really the quartering duke, they could totally pull that off.
そんな最低最悪なクソ野郎だからこそうちらはわざわざ集まったんだからさ。
That piece of trash is literally the worst. He's like the reason we even have to be here in the first place.
そんな仲間同士で疑い合うだなんて。
The nerve. How dare they turn us on one another?
おいおい待ちなよ。もっと最悪なパターンがあるだろ。
Hey now, let's back up a bit here. There's something that makes this even worse, you know? Renegade detective cuts in gleefully.
もっと最悪なパターン。それって何のことですか？
Even worse. How do you mean?
決まっているじゃないか。犯人を見つけ出せるならまだマシ。
Isn't it obvious? Things would be fine if we could still track down the culprit.
もっと最悪なパターンは犯人がすでに島から逃げ去っていることだよ。
But the worst case scenario, they've already escaped from the island. The atmosphere tenses in an instant. As much as we hoped to believe otherwise, it was a possibility we couldn't ignore.
仮に今回の一連の犯行が八つ咲き校の仕業だとしたら、すでに逃げ去っている方が現実的だよね。
If we're assuming this is the work of the quartering duke, is it only rational to conclude that he's booked it by now?
だって探偵同盟の本部を壊滅させることには成功。置き土産に老子探偵を殺害する罠まで残せた。逆にどうして島に残る必要があるのかな。
He's successfully destroyed HQ after all. He even left us with the parting gift of Senior Detective's murder. Why stay after that?
俺ならサクッと逃げちゃうな。そして戻ってくる。そうすれば疑われることもないんだもん。
If it were me, I'd hightail it the second I was able, never to return. That way, I wouldn't even be suspected.
よほど強い意志と目的でもないんだ。
Unless I had a strong motive to do otherwise, that is. No one can argue with Renegade's words. Suppose it takes a homicidal maniac to give us some perspective on another. Just like he said, it'd be counterintuitive for the culprit to remain or even return to the island at this point.
それじゃあこの事件は
Then, the case is...
誰にでも犯行が可能である以上、もう推理しようがない。完全に手詰まりってわけ。
Yup, if anyone's to blame, then we may as well be wild mass guessing. That's an impasse if I ever saw one. I examine everyone's faces again. Their eyes are filled with suspicion and hostility that wasn't there before. I believed I could trust them just moments ago, but now a dark shadow hangs above us. If the culprit already fled, we'll never track down Senior Detective's killer. But if they're still here, they could very well be among us. Either way, it's a bitter pill to swallow. It's no surprise the team's morale has taken a hit.
顔を上げろ探 探偵諸君、推理はまだ終わっていないぞ。
Stiff upper lip, ladies and gentlemen. This investigation hasn't ended yet. Holmes' voice dispels the gloom.
確かにこの事件の真相はどうあがいても悲劇かもしれない。
It's true. Regardless of our actions, the reality of the situation is a tragic one.
だがそもそも探偵とは悲劇の後に必要とされる存在だ。我々が悲劇を前に起こしてしまっては誰が立ち向かうというんだ。
However, it's a detective's duty to attend to the aftermath of any tragedy. If we hesitate, who else will take the mantle? Huh? Holmes sends a wink my way before making her announcement.
この事件の犯人は一つ致命的なミスを犯してしまった。それを今から私が解き明かしてみせよう。
As mentioned previously, the culprit made one fatal error, which I shall now share with you all.
悲劇など我々の手で覆してやろうじゃないか、探偵諸君。
After all, reversing tragedies is precisely what we must do, ladies and gentlemen. The group falls silent, listening intently to what Ideal has to say. For this particular trick, anyone could have performed the killing act, so long as the proper preparations were made. It's possible the perpetrator has already fled, though if they are still present, they could very well be part of the DA. How does Holmes intend to turn such a desperate situation around?
まだ自らの推理を話していない子がいるだろう。それが誰か無能君もわかるだろう。
I believe someone is yet to share their theory. Incompetent, you know to whom I refer, yes? Oh. The investigator who hasn't spoken yet is... Oh. We have not heard from Bookworm at all. Armor chimed in, Rowdy has chimed in. Bookworm, speak!
文学さん、確かあなたはこの部屋の暖炉を見て何かに気づいた様子でしたよね。
Bookworm, you were looking at the fireplace when you noticed something, right?
あなたは何に気づいたんですか？
What was it you saw?
こそこそと見ていたんですか。気持ち悪いです。死んでください。と少女はロリコンとおぼしき少年へと蔑みの
I
目を
half
向け
forgot
た。
that she did this. So you were spying on me then? Get lost and die, Humbert, said the girl to the perverted youth, her detest for him clear on her face.
いや、これはその
What? No, that's not.
よさないか、文学探偵。
That's enough, Bookie.
すまないな、無能探偵。この子は少々人付き合いが不慣れなんだ。
Apologies, incompetent. I'm afraid her social graces are a bit lacking.
全然気にしてないですよ。
Oh, don't worry about it. I give a strained laugh as I attempt to recover from the mental blow I was just dealt.
お前もずっと暖炉の件を話したがっていたじゃないか。みんなに話してやれ。
Weren't you chomping at the bit to tell everyone about the fireplace? Come out and say it.
言われずともそのつもりですけど。と少女は不満混じりの声で返事をし、解説を始める。
I intended to whether or not I was asked, puffed the girl matter-of-factly before beginning her explanation.
私たちがこの部屋を訪れた際、暖炉に火が灯っていました。この点に違和感を覚え、ずっとその正体を探っていたのです。と、少女は自らの考えを口にした。
When we first entered, this fire was lit. Something felt off about this, so I spent my time pondering the matter, the girl began.
違和感ですか？その正体って？
Something was off? What matter are you talking about?
この国では馴染みが薄く、知らないのも当然であろうが、暖炉の火というのはそう長く持たないんだ。
This style of hearth isn't commonplace in this country, so it's no surprise that you would be unaware that these fires don't burn for long.
薪を頻繁に追加してやらなければ6時間も持たない。よくて5時間といったところだ。
Unless wood is added regularly, they will not last more than 6 hours. Even 5 would be an exceptional amount of time.
そんなに頻繁な管理が必要なものなんですね。
Huh? So it really needs to be tended to.
でも皆さんの中の誰かが寒いから火を灯したんじゃないですか。もう3月とはいえこの島は肌寒いですし。
But isn't it possible someone started a fire because they were feeling cold? I know it's March, but this island gets pretty chilly.
殺人事件が起こった館の暖炉を勝手につける探偵がいるわけないでしょ、ロリコン野郎と。少女は犯罪者予備軍の少年を罵倒した。
No proper detective would use a fireplace at a crime scene, you sexual deviant, said the girl, chiding the would-be offender. Alright, you gotta stop calling me main character these terms, please. Please.
それもそうですね。
Oh, right.
文学探偵の言う通りだ。私たちの中に暖炉をつけようとする者はいない。
It's as Bookie says. I doubt there's a soul among us who would use a fireplace in this situation.
いるとしたら犯人だけだ。犯人は何らかの理由を持って暖炉に火をつけた。そしてそれはこの数時間に起きた出来事なんだ。
The only individual who would is the culprit. They had some incentive to ignite these flames, and it happened within the last several hours.
二人ともいい点に気づいてくれたな。その暖炉に火をつけてしまったことこそ犯人の失策の一つさ。
You both noticed something vital. The very act of lighting the fire was quite a blunder on the perpetrator's behalf.
おそらく暖炉の火の持続時間に関する知識がなかったのだろう。だからこそ軽率にも暖炉に火をつけてしまった。いや、つけざるを得なかったんだ。
It appears they were unaware of how long the fire would burn, but that's precisely why they lit it. There's no other choice.
つけざるを得なかった。
They had to light the fire?
ああ、このワイヤーを取り扱うのに必要なグローブを処分するためにな。
Indeed. All to dispose of the gloves necessary to manipulate the wire saw. Saying this, Holmes fishes a single black glove from her pocket and waves it at us.
君たちも知っての通り、今回の犯行に使われたワイヤーソーは切れ味が良すぎるゆえに特別製のグローブが必要だ。犯人は間違いなくこのグローブを所持していたことだろう。
As you all know, said wire saw is so fine that it requires specially made gloves to handle, gloves which the culprit possessed.
ゆえにこのグローブの所持がバレれば犯人として疑われる。かといって指紋のべったりついたグローブをどこかへ隠すのはリスクが高い。だからこうするしかなかったのさ。
Were these gloves to be found on any of our persons, the owner would be quite suspect. Ergo, their only recourse was to burn them. With that, Holmes flings the glove into the fireplace. It disappears in the flames, hissing all the while. It may have been made of sturdy material, but it clearly wasn't fireproof.
暖炉の中から焼け残ったグローブの残骸を見つけることもできましたよ。と少女はリーダーへと報告した。
I managed to find the burnt remains of a glove in the fireplace, the girl reported to the chief.
あの火力で焼け残るとは、炎の精霊イフリートとの交友を深めていなかったがゆえの失態か。
So the glove didn't burn entirely despite the heat. Perhaps forming a pact with the Ifrits would have better served them.
ちょっと
Ifrit!
なのでスルーします。
Vision of Hellfire!
少女は無視を決め込んだ。
Not sure what that means, so we'll just ignore that, the girl said dismissively.
素晴らしい発見だよ、文学君。これで犯人がワイヤー用のグローブを処理するために暖炉をつけたことは確定した。
Brilliant discovery, Bookworm. From this, we can deduce that the culprit lit this fire in an attempt to dispose of the gloves.
では、このことからどんな事実が伺えるかな？魔界君、君ならわかるだろ？
Now, what further conclusions can we draw? I'm sure you could tell us, Mystic.
無論だ。犯人がこの洋館を脱出できたならば、グローブなど適当な場所に放ってしまえばいい。近くに海もあるのだからな。
Naturally. Had the culprit escaped the manor, they could have discarded the gloves any number of ways, not least of which being the ocean.
わざわざ洋館の中で処分したということは、洋館の外に出られなかったということだ。
The fact that they attempted to do so within the manor instead suggests that a getaway was not in the cards.
グッド。その通りだよ、魔界くん。
Yes, precisely so, Mystic.
この洋館から研究棟までは一本道。道以外は断崖で、とても人間は降りられない。
The sole path from Gormenghast to Snarks is a straight shot. Apart from that, there's only a cliff no person could easily descend.
それに何より、私たちが研究棟に到着してからこの数時間、見張りを欠かさなかったが、洋館から脱出した者は皆無だった。
Most importantly, during the several hours after our arrival, we never failed to keep watch. Not one soul fled from the building.
この暖炉に火を灯した人はまだ館の内部にいるということですね。と少女はリーダーの言葉に納得するのであった。
Put in another way, whoever lit the fire is still inside the manor as we speak, said the girl, following the chief's logic.
この館の内部に
They're still inside the manor? The detectives eye each other suspiciously. But of course, why wouldn't they? If the culprit is still inside the manor, that means they're hiding within our group.
落ち着け、探偵諸君。確かに、私たちの中に犯人がいるという事実は悲しいことだが、何よりも重大な事実がある。
Remain calm, ladies and gentlemen. While it is dispiriting to have the culprit among us, there is one fact more critical than any other.
それは、八つ咲公が確実にこの洋館の中にいるということだ。
The fact that the quartering duke is, without question, inside this very manor.
どうして言い切れるんですか？
But how can you be so sure?
君が現れたおかげだよ、無能君。
It's all thanks to your turning up here, incompetent.
僕が？どういう意味ですか？
Me? What do you mean? Holmes chuckles lightly before continuing.
八つ咲公にとって君の存在はイレギュラーに違いないからさ。その証拠に八つ咲公は2つの致命的なミスを犯している。
The quartering duke, you see, did not account for your presence. Two fatal errors suggest this is the case.
一つは痕跡を残したこと。おそらく犯人の元々の計画では証拠など残さずに姿を消すつもりだったはずだ。
Firstly, a trace of the crime still remained. Had it all gone accordingly, I suspect the original plan would have left no such evidence.
そうすれば、下道君が言っていたように、もう八つ咲公が島から脱出したものと考えざるを得ない。推理のしようがなくなり、混乱に陥っていたからな。
Then, as Renegade pointed out, we would have assumed the Duke already escaped, throwing our investigation into disarray. I see. If the Duke's goal wasn't to put us off his scent, there wouldn't have been any need to engineer such a complex murder. For all intents and purposes, this should have been an unsolvable case.
しかし、そこに無能君が現れ、予定よりも早くトラップを起動させてしまった上に、入り口で気絶してしまった。
However, Incompetent triggered the trap earlier than anticipated. What's more, he passed out in the entryway.
もし仮に洋館内に犯人がいたとしたら、さぞ慌てたことだろう。なぜなら、この洋館は窓がすべてはめ殺しで、出るには唯一の扉をくぐるほかない。
The culprit was likely panicking inside the manor. With all the windows fitted, front door was the only means of escape.
なのに、そこには男が倒れている。もし逃げるときに目覚めて顔を見られたら一巻の終わりだ。
But, with this boy unconscious by the door, the chance of him waking and catching them as they fled was too great a risk.
殺そうにも実力も素性も不明。おとなしく身を隠す他にない。さらにそこへ他の探偵たちまでやってきてしまう。
With no knowledge of his background or ability, it would be unwise to try and kill him. As the others were en route, the culprit opted to hide.
慌てた犯人は隙を見て暖炉で証拠だけ隠滅してしまった。どうだい？しっかりとした筋書きだろ。
Flustered, they saw their chance and used the fireplace to dispose of the evidence. Well, My deduction is quite sound, yes? No one contradicts Holmes' statements. She's right. If there was any irregularity in the culprit's plan, it would be me. I may lack experience, and have failed to save Senior, but it's thanks to me that a major flaw was introduced to the murder's plan. It's a bit ironic, really.
その可能性があったか。全然気づかなかったよ。
What can I say? I never considered that possibility.
わざわざ混乱を生む発言をしておいてよく言うな。どうせ最初から全て気づいていた上で場を混乱させたのだろ。この下道め。
You have some nerve saying that after all your misleading comments. I'd wager that you had this figured out, but decided to stir the pot anyway.
お待ちなさい。どうして八崎港の犯行だと言い切れますの？
Now wait just a moment. How can you be so certain the quartering Duke is the culprit?
八崎港の犯行の特徴は常に被害者が2人同時に現れること。確かに研究棟のスタッフに多数の死傷者が出ていますけど、これまでの犯行とは全く。
The Duke's murders are characterized by 2 simultaneous victims. Even with the deceased staff here, this case is entirely different.
それが2つ目のミスなんだよ、家族くん。
Therein lies their second mistake, Posh. Hmm? Posh falls silent. Holmes turns her gaze to me, then smiles coldly before getting into the heart of the matter.
本来この扉を開けた者は罠に引っかかり、老子探偵と共に死ぬはずだった。
In the original plan, the individual who opened the door was intended to spring the trap and die alongside Senior Detective.
つまり本来殺すはずの2人目の犠牲者を出せなかったことこそが八崎港最大の失敗さ。
That is to say, failing to produce a second victim was the courting Duke's greatest mistake.
なんですって？
Beg pardon? Oh. Now I remember. When the trap sprung, I felt a pain in my head that led me to avoid the trap. By all means, I should have died right then. In other words, I narrowly avoided a tragic fate as the courting Duke's latest victim.
はいはい。被害者が2人いたかもしれないからって、八崎港の犯行と断定するのは早計じゃないか？
Hold on. Aren't we a bit too... Nope. Aren't we a bit quick to assume this was the Duke's doing? Just because there could have been 2 victims?
模倣犯かもしれないだろ。
It may just be another copycat. You feel me?
分かっていながら尋ねるな、下道探偵。お前もシリアルキラーなら分かるはずだろ。
Stop asking questions you know the answer to, renegade detective. A fellow serial killer such as yourself ought to understand, hmm?
これはただのか乱を狙った犯行ではなく、宣戦布告だ。わざわざリスクの高い手段で老子探偵を惨殺してみせることで、八崎港は私たちにこう言っている。
This is not simply to sow the seeds of discord. It was a declaration of war. Killing Senior in such a risky way is proof of that.
真相を解き明かしてみせろ。さもなくば、全員八崎にしてやる。とな。
Reveal the truth, or you will all be dismembered. That is what he means to tell us.
面白くなってきたね。俺も全力で楽しませてもらうとするよ。My Holmes.
Yeah. Things are getting interesting. I, for one, am ready to have a ball, my dear Holmes. With Renegade Detective satisfied, Holmes claps once, turning the attention back to her.
では、今回の事件をまとめるとしよう。
Very good. Now, to briefly summarize.
八崎港は私たちの訪れる数日前に島を訪れ、職員を全員殺害した。
The quartering Duke... Oh, there's music. The quartering Duke came to the island a few days prior to her arrival, murdering all personnel present.
その後、シャンデリアと老子探偵とワイヤーで結びつけ、罠が作動してシャンデリアが落下すれば、老子探偵が死ぬよう細工。洋館を後にした。
He affixed Senior Detective to the chandelier, ensuring he would be killed when it descended. Following that, the Duke left the manor.
後日、研究棟に私たちが訪れたところを見計らって、 老子探偵の声で私に連絡。一部の探偵を洋館へと誘導する。
Later, while we were at the research facility, they sent a message to me using Senior's voice, luring a portion of our group back to the manor.
そこで扉を開いた探偵と老子探偵を同時に殺害し、二人の犠牲者を出すことで八つ崎公の犯行であることを示唆。
In doing so, whoever opened the door to the manor would die at the same moment as Senior Detective, producing 2 victims. The Duke's modus operandi.
それと同時に犯人である八つ崎公が島の外へと逃げ出せた可能性を示すことで私たちを混乱に陥れるはずだった。
This is also meant to conceal the Duke's presence and facilitate his escape amidst the chaos, or so went the plan, at least.
だがそこでイレギュラーが生じる。それは計画外の人物が計画外の時間に罠を作動させたことだ。
But it was that exact moment when things went awry, when an unforeseen individual triggered the trap earlier than expected.
そのイレギュラーのせいで犯人は洋館の外へ出られず、慌てて証拠隠滅を図った。その結果、不自然に暖炉に火が灯り、証拠品も焼け残ってしまった。
This deviation prevented the culprit from fleeing. In their panic, they disposed of the evidence in the fireplace, but it didn't burn completely.
以上のことから八つ崎公が今どこにいるか、無能君、イレギュラーの主である君が結論を告げろ。
So concludes my synopsis. Now we must ask, where's the quartering Duke? Surely, as the irregularity, you can tell us incompetent. I'm gonna say that he, meaning the quartering Duke, he or she, because I'm equal opportunity, is still inside the manor.
八つ崎公はこの洋館の中にいます。
The quartering Duke is inside the manor.
その通りだ。八つ崎公は私たちのすぐそばにいる。
Precisely. Quartering Duke himself stands among our ranks.
無能君が生み出してくれたこの一筋の巧妙を逃すわけにはいかない。ここまではやられてばかりだったが、反撃開始といこう。
We must take advantage of this opportunity Compton has granted us. Having suffered blow after blow, it is now our turn to act.
私たち全員で追い込んでやろうじゃないか。この嘘にまみれた悲劇を終わらせるために。
The game is afoot. Let us bring an end to this tragedy drenched in deceit. Gray matter matters. Oh, hell yeah. S? Victim, Senior Detective, culprit, unknown, cause of death, dismembered by wire saw. Sequence, the culprit killed Senior Detective from far by using the chandelier trap and wire saw. Notes, this gimmick was set up in advance, making it hard to pin down the culprit. They remain unidentified, but must be inside the manor. Oh no, are we not gonna get a satisfying, like, we've got someone? Is it just the upshot of this case, for lack of a better term, gonna be what we've determined is that they're one of us and they're not, and they're in this manor? And now we have to play obviously the rest of the game to try to catch them. It's not like a very satisfying, like, I'm not saying it's bad. Don't get me wrong. It's different, but it's not like a satisfying, like, seemingly end of trial, like a Danganronpa. I hate to keep comparing to Danganronpa, it just is natural, right? But look at that, S rank. Your boy's so good.
よでもまあ通り魔事件の推理はここまでってことでよくね
Sure thing, girl. But can we, like, put a pause on the whole investigation thing? The one other thing, and I don't know if I fully, like, trust this, but, like, there was a small part of me during that whole thing where they're trying to figure out who the quartering Duke could have possibly been, where my brain was like, wouldn't it, like, remember how Senior Detective got incompetent Detective Watto here in the first place and kind of, like, pulled the wool over his eyes? I was like, what if it's some sadistic thing where, like, senior detective killed himself just so that he could pose a test to the rest of the detectives or try to get them to work as like a team or something. Because like his whole thing was that he's retired now at this point. But like, what if he was like, my final act is going to be so that we can, I don't know, get everyone working together as a team. I'm going to set up this elaborate thing and like somehow essentially pull my own murder against myself, and they'll be forced to work as a team to try to actually catch the quartering Duke. My brain did possibly think of that. Or an offshoot of that would be like, he's not actually dead. Fake death. Now, I believe that even less. And that would be even more of a cop-out, almost. But I did have the other thought, for sure. And that's why it's, like, really hard to determine who did it. I don't know. I don't fully believe it. As I'm saying the words out loud, I'm like, it seems... Not only does it seem implausible, but it also seems like not great storytelling. But anyway, given the situation, downtown's casual demeanor feels momentarily out of place.
解ける謎はあらかた解けて、これ以上は犯人を踏んづかまえて問いただせばいいじゃん。うちはもうお腹が減りすぎてヘリンボーンだよ。
We've pretty much solved the mystery. All we gotta do now is like catch the bad guy, yeah? Why don't we take a break and chill for a bit?
一旦休憩にしようよ。みんなお疲れモードだし、これ以上話してもラ
Downtown's
ジ
got
あ
the
か
right
んべ。
idea. No lie, I'm mad hungry right now. Besides, it's not like talking in circles is gonna go anywhere if we're all running around empty.
さすがは渋谷殿、良いことを言うのである。
Hear, hear, Lady Downtown. Pray, let us heed her wisdom.
どうせ犯人はこの洋館から出られぬのであろう。ならば我らがまず行うべきは犯人との開口に備え英気を養うことである。
The culprit was unable to make their escape, correct? In which case, we ought to regain our strength and prepare for the battles to come.
それもそうだな。本土からこの島までの移動時間も含めれば、私たちはすでに半日以上休みなしで活動を続けている。
A valid point. Factoring in travel time, we've been going at it non-stop for about a day and a half so far. Holmes chuckles ruefully at Downtown and Armor's comments, but speaks with a clear, firm voice.
渋谷君の言う通り、交代で洋館の出入り口を見張りながら食事をとることにしよう。
Let us take turns standing watch at the door. In the meantime, as Downtown suggested, the rest of us can relax and enjoy a meal. With Holmes's words, the group lets out a collective sigh of relief. No one has to say it. We're all clearly exhausted. The detectives chatter away as we head toward the dining room. The atmosphere has finally become calm and relaxed. Ack! Despite that, the tightness in my chest won't disappear. I groan quietly as I feel another migraine coming up. It's just like when the chandelier fell, as if I'm not myself.
無能先輩大丈夫？頭痛いの？バフィロンあげようか？
Is this like... Does this guy have like some kind of form of like spider sense? Only it manifests... Because we've now seen it a few times manifest as like a sharp pain. And like we've seen in the intro, the first stream, where he would like... When we went back in time, after we picked the wrong option, he was like, ooh, I sense people in like the opposite, on the other side of this door. And then he was like, oh, this pain. And then he was like able to dodge the like chandelier from like crushing him. Are they gonna call him Spider Detective? Hey, you good, dude? Does your head feel okay? I've got some painkillers if you need them.
無理は良くないのである。さあ、食堂までおんぶするから我に捕まってくれ。
You mustn't overexert yourself. Hold tight, for I shall be your steed to the dining hall.
大丈夫大丈夫。だから本部は
Ride me! It's fine. I really don't need to be carried. After some time, the pain recedes, but I can't understand it. Why is my body such a wreck right now?
渋谷さん、念のために後でバフィロンもらっていいかな。
Hey, downtown, could I get one of those painkillers later? Just in case?
了、もちろん OK だよ。先輩には借りもできちゃってたみたいだしね。
Sure, no problem. Just don't forget, you owe me one now.
借り？
I do? I know I said this earlier, I love Downtown Detective's design. I don't know what about it.
まあ通り魔食堂行こう。置いてかれて変な疑いかけられたら最悪だしね。
Now come on, let's hit the dining hall. Don't want anyone getting all sus about us hanging back too long, you know? Downtown doesn't wait for me to respond, instead pulling my hand and leading me into the dining hall. Day 1, evening. The dining room is buzzing with chatter. Some ingredients were left in the refrigerator, so Gourmet Detective cooked us a meal. Workaholic, Renegade, and Doleful agree to keep watch while the rest of us gather around the lengthy dining room table.
はーいみんな、お料理ができたわよ。
Alright everyone, soup's on! The one thing I don't understand is why is Gourmet Detective's outfit like that? You know what I mean? Like everyone's like that's why I was confused. When we were like, oh, her name is Gourmet, and they're, you know, they've got names based on their characteristics or their, you know, their interests or something, or, you know, their personality or, you know, all that. Everyone seems to kind of like fit, like it all kind of makes sense, except for Gourmet, and it's so much to this point where I was like, previously, I was like, is like Gourmet referencing something else than what I would be thinking of? Like, is there another meaning for gourmet, or like a cheeky like reference it's giving or something? But as it says right there, she's clearly like a cook or likes to cook or whatever. But why does she have that outfit? That's not like the outfits pertain to, I don't know. The goggles? I don't know. Nothing makes sense. What's up, Gourmet Detective? Gourmet Detective, I say. Gourmet Detective, what's up? What's going on? Why are we? All right, everyone, soup's on.
ちゃんと材料は私が毒味しておいたから安心してね。
I already tasted the ingredients for poison, so kick back, relax, and enjoy the meal.
毒味したって、それで死んだらどうするんですか。僕のフレンズ、鑑識遊具ペロペロ君を使えば簡単に調べられたのに。
Poison? But that could have killed you. It would have been much easier and safer to use my forensic friend Quickie Licky.
悪いな、科学の坊ちゃん。でもよ、美食の姉さんなら毒くらい平気だぜ。
No worries, little man. A bit of the stuff ain't enough to bring down Gourmet anyway.
なんだって、姉さんの舌はあらゆる毒を美味しく食べれちまうんだからな。
It's like this, see? It's like this, see? She could guzzle down any old poison like it were a sody pop.
山
Sody
木
pop.
ちゃんってばその言い方じゃまるで私がモンスターみたいじゃないの。
Oh, Rowdy. When you put it like that, I practically sound like a monster.
ただ単に子供の頃からいろんな毒を試食してきたおかげで毒に耐性ができたというだけよ。
I've
生
sent all
酸カリとかはお口が痛くて食べられないしね。
I've sampled all sorts of toxins since I was a kid, so I guess I built up a tolerance. Cyanide has too much of a kick, though, even for me.
噂通りの超味覚。恐ろしい人ですね。
So you really do have a super palate. How alarmingly impressive. Let me look at super palate. Gourmet Detective excels in her analytical ability to connect sense and tastes to foods. Her past experiences have given her a strong resistance to poison molds, making her uniquely optimized for this power. The most extreme aspect of the super palate is that it's capable of sniffing out the scent of lies. While much research remains to be done on this, people react to emotion, cause changes to components in the bloodstream, as well as the particles that make up sweat. For creatures with keen noses, such as dogs, research has shown that compositional shifts like these can be detected via olfaction. Right. The same is believed for Gourmet. Unlike Rowdy's more universal senses, however, if Gourmet is unable to perceive something as food, she can't work her magic on it, a downside to her ability. Okay. Did I read, this guy's thing? No, I don't think I had. Okay, I'm gonna read it here. Renegade Detective number 4 solves 204 cases. The case of Shinjuku Rainwalker, the Nanis Conference case, hobby volunteering, special skills, criminal psychology. Additional notes: famed for being the most aberrant agent within the DA, he lacks any semblance of ethics, often resorting to dubious methods to apprehend criminals. Given the chance, he will kill culprits, albeit indirectly. As his own past is riddled with murder, he is fitted with an explosive collar device known as the decapitation rabbit and is typically held under house arrest in his apartment-esque prison. Be that as it may, his detective faculties and familiarity with the criminal mind keep him in high esteem. He has been granted a degree of freedom to assist with major criminal cases designated as Q incidents. Ah.
何この和風パスタ、超美味しいんだけど。美食さん、食べるだけじゃなく作る方もパないんだね。
Oh my gosh, the spaghetti is the bomb! You're like just as good at cooking as you are at eating, Gourmet.
出汁がよく効いているね。濃厚なのに爽やかな風味が後を引く味わいだ。
Indeed, the sauce is excellent, rich yet refreshing, with a complex taste that lingers in the mouth.
さて、これは一体何の出汁かな？渋谷くん、考えてみるといい。
Just what is this sauce precisely? Downtown, figure it out, won't you?
うちですか？食事の時くらい謎かけは勘弁してくださいよ。うちじゃわかんないですって。
Who, me? How should I know? Can we at least give the mystery-solving shtick a rest while we're eating?
人生はすべてミステリーだ。いついかなる時も謎を探してしまうのは探偵の性というものさ。
But life is full of mysteries, is it not? As detectives, it's our job, our legacy even, to find them.
我は分かったぞ。この甘酸っぱい風味、レモンであるな。
Eureka! This bittersweet flavor. It's surely lemon, is it not?
いや、さすがにレモンでは出汁は取れない。
Not quite. Can't see lemons having any place in the sauce.
何？あんな汁気がたっぷりなのに、バカな。
What? Rubbish! Lemons are exceptionally juicy!
いや、汁気と出汁は関係ないでしょ。つうかあんた、そんな鎧姿でどう食べてるわけ？
So? Who the heck wants a juicy sauce? Wait, how are you even gonna eat in all that metal?
ん？このようにして兜の隙間からすするのだが。
Hmm? Through the slits of my helm, of course. Behold!
え、気持ち悪い。本当に嫌いなんですけど、あなたのこと。
Ew, you are so nasty. Like, for real.
人参をこっそり私のスープに入れるんじゃない。ちゃんと野菜も食べないと大きくなれないぞ。
Do not slip your carrots into my soup, Bookie. Without them, you'll be doomed to never grow any taller.
人参は土臭くてまずいからよ。
I like how they seem to be
それに
friends.
ビタミンは健康には影響を及ぼしますが、体の成長には効果を与えないものと記憶してます。
Carrots smell of dirt. They're disgusting, and I hate them. And although vitamins do impact your health, they won't affect the body's growth.
よって食べなくても特に体が大きくならないことはありません。あなたの論理は破綻しています。
Therefore,
少女は微塵の破綻もない正論で鮮やかに論破した。
Therefore, not eating them will not impede my height. Your logic is flawed, said the girl, swiftly destroying his flimsy argument. She always takes like a long pause in between the things.
へりくつはいいから食べんか。せっかく美食探偵がしっかりと煮込んでくれて食べやすくなっているんだぞ。
Enough dawdling. Eat your dinner. Gourmet took the time to boil the carrots, making them both tender and easy to eat.
文学さん、若井さんの言う通りですわよ。探偵たるもの、好き嫌いをしてはいけませんわ。
Listen to Mystic now, Bookworm. A detective cannot afford to be picky.
懐かしいですわね。私も子供の頃はもやしが全然食べられなくて苦労したものです。今は大好物ですけれど。
My, how nostalgic. As a girl, I simply loathed bean sprouts. Refused to take even a single bite, in fact. But now they're my absolute favorite.
もやし。家族探偵は探偵のメイトピンカートン家の出身なのにもやしなど食べていたのですか？少女はイメージと異なる発言に目を丸くした。
Bean sprouts. That sounds like a rather humble meal for a member of the distinguished Pinkerton family, the girl said, eyes growing wide.
ギク
Well,
ピンカートン家も近年は苦労していてな。警備業務がなりわいだと聞いている。それを立て直した妻女こそそこの家族。
her family has fallen on hard times of late, and now does security work to make a living. Even so, you're looking at the woman who revived there.
余計なことは言わなくてもよろしいですわ。ピンカートン家は今も昔も最高の探偵です。
But we haven't the time for your hearsay. The Pinkertons are now, as ever, the very finest of detectives.
私が八つ崎港の正体を暴き、その事実を証明して差し上げますから見ていてくださいまし。
Rest assured, I shall reveal the true nature of the court and Duke unveil the truth. You'll all see soon enough. I'm unable to mask the surprise on my face as I listen to the others chat in harmony.
あれだけ凄惨な事件の後でも普通に食事が取れるなんてみんなすごいな。
Even after seeing something so horrible, they're still able to have a normal meal. It goes to show how amazing they are. I, on the other hand, haven't been able to take a single bite of the food on my plate. Before me is a savory soup full of hearty veggies, toasted baguette slices, and fluffy eggs scrambled together with smoked meat. All the food looks as delicious as it is inviting, yet I can't will the hand holding my spoon to budge even an inch. No matter how hard I try, I can't keep the grisly sight from earlier out of my head. Everyone else saw the same thing as me, but I'm the only one paralyzed by it. How pathetic can I be? I mean, I'm a member of the Alliance myself. I need to strengthen my mental fortitude so murder scenes won't bother me this much.
顔が引きつっているぞ。大丈夫か？
You look rather tense. Are you quite alright? No, I'm not okay. Holmes is seated next to me, her voice a low whisper, such that only I can hear it.
ごめんなさい。ちょっと考え事をしていただけなので気にしないでください。
Sorry, just had something on my mind. Don't worry about me.
嘘が下手だな。殺人事件の現場を目撃したショックで食欲が湧かないんだろ。
You're a poor liar. That murder scene robbed you of your appetite, didn't it? Uh-huh. I gawk at how easily she sees through me.
その顔を見れば誰だってわかるさ。それに探偵たるもの誰もが経験することだからな。
It's plain as day from the look on your face. Not to mention, this is something everyone who fancies themselves a detective has gone through.
そうですよね。僕も早くなれるよう努力します。
Right. I'll try to get used to it as quickly as I can.
おいおい、そんな必要はないぞ。むしろ逆だ。殺人事件の現場に慣れてはいけない。
Now, no need for that. Homicides aren't something you should get accustomed to.
どういうことですか？
Uh-huh. What do you mean? I blurt out the question before I can stop myself.
言葉通りの意味さ。確かに 私たち探偵は悲劇の現場に直面しやすい。だがその光景に慣れて日常のように思ってはいけない。
Precisely what I said. It's not uncommon for detectives to encounter tragedy, but even so, we mustn't consider it a mere fact of life.
よく見ろ。みんな口調こそ明るいが、時折真剣な面持ちを見せる。
Observe. Though the others seem cheerful, you'll catch a strained look on their faces from time to time.
気持ちを切り替えるべく、意識的に明るく話しているんだ。防ぐことのできなかった悲劇に心が負けないようにな。
Such cheer is intentionally projected so as to cope with the tragedy we failed to prevent.
意識的に明るく。
They're doing it on purpose? Look at those JPEGs moving around. Looking again at the group, I can see hints of tension during the lulls in conversation. I see. So it's not that everyone just instantly moved on from Senior Detective's murder. Rather, they're steeling themselves, shrouding their weakness as they continue to untangle this mystery.
悲劇を日常と思う者に探偵を名乗る資格はない。
Anyone who considers death and violence a daily reality has no business calling themselves a detective.
悲劇を憎み、勇気を持って覆せるような強い心を持った者こそが探偵なんだ。
Actually, wait, let me read this, what she says before I get into my spiel now that my brain gears are turning. Those who are brave, who abhor tragedies, and work tirelessly to reverse the damage they cause, those are the true detectives. I just now thought, again, bringing up Danganronpa, but maybe this is even less of like Danganronpa. Maybe it's not like I shouldn't be expecting that each chapter, whatever is, we're gonna get someone dying and then someone being the culprit, and then they're gonna... Like, that would make actually a lot more sense if it's not that case. Because it would make a lot more sense if there is one bad person, the Quartering Duke, and then maybe like each chapter there's a case that gets us, as we solve, gets us closer and closer to discovering who the Quartering Duke is, but we maybe only lose, like, a person, one of us, each time. That would actually make a lot more sense. Because, again, I think I even said in the first stream, I was like, well, what? Is it going to be just like Danganronpa where we have a case and someone committed a murder, and why would that be the case? Because I think I brought up the point, like, in a Danganronpa, you have the motive to kill. It was like, you don't have that same technically motive situation here. There's not like an evil bear telling you that you have to do it for you to get, leave or, So now I'm adjusting in my head. Because at the time when we solved this case just a few minutes ago, I was like, oh, we don't get that satisfying, like, putting the bad guy in their place kind of thing. But I just don't think that's probably what it's mirroring. It's probably not mirroring that part of the whole game. I would bet we probably have one person dying each chapter, probably. And then solving the case. We didn't even solve the case technically because we didn't solve who did it. We just like pieced it out. And then so maybe as we solve them, we get closer to figuring out the Quartering Duke, maybe. That's kind of what it feels like.
だからバトク、君
Interesting.
も強くあれ。どんな悲劇にも負けない。本物の探偵になるんだ。
So too must you steel yourselves, Watto. Or yourself, Watto. Be a true detective, one who will never give in, no matter what may befall you. Now, if we only have one person dying each chapter, that means less likely that your favorite gets killed off each chapter. Yeah. My hand is still frozen in place, gripping my spoon, but no matter how long it takes, I'll finish this meal in front of me. Not only that, I'll become a real detective, just like Holmes said.
みんなすぐに集まってくれ。
Everyone, come quick! Workaholic's voice echoes through the room. I turn to see his flustered face at the doorway.
研究棟前のヘリポート付近で何かが光ってる。もしかしたら犯人がヘリコプターで逃げようとしているのかもしれない。
There's a bright light by the heliport next to the research facility. The culprit could be attempting to escape by air. What? Ka-chunk, ka-chunk. I love how you can always hear fucking armor guy. Armor detective clank, clanking around when they walk as a group. The group rushes outside the manor. It's such a funny small detail.
一体あんな場所で何が光っているというんだろうね。
Take a look over yonder. Just what could be making that glow?
何かとても危険な気配がします。近づいてはいけない。何かの気配が。
I'm sensing serious danger. Whatever it is, I don't think we should get close to it. Renegade points off into the distance, where something is definitely shining. The paved area over there is a heliport, which means that light could belong to a helicopter. Which means that light... Oh, yeah, right. Okay, though I didn't see anything there when I checked before.
俺にはうっすらと見えるぜ。楕円状の巨大な何かがヘリポートの上に立ってやがる。
I'm seeing something. It's big and oval and standing on the heliport.
真っ黒に塗られているみたいではっきりとは見えねえが、危険な気配がピンピンに伝わってくるぜ。おそらくは敵の野郎の罠だろうな。
It's painted black, so I can't make it out too good, but my gut says it's real bad news. Probably a trap set by the op.
でも確認しないわけにもいかない。もし本当にヘリコプターだったなら逃走を許してしまうことになるからね。
But we need to make certain. If it truly is a helicopter, our inaction will allow the perpetrator to flee.
お待ちなさい。私たちがあのヘリポートの前を通った時は何もなかったではありませんの。
Now wait one moment. We passed by the heliport earlier, and there wasn't a single thing to be found.
ヘリをあの場所に用意することなど不可能ですわ。
How could there suddenly be an entire aircraft? It's impossible.
あのヘリポートの地下には機材の格納庫があると聞いたことがある。こうして私たちを洋館に引き寄せて今脱出を図ろうとしているとしたら。
I've heard there's a hangar located beneath the heliport that could have lured us to the manor in order to slip away.
議論している暇はないな。早く向かおう。
Which means we need to get moving at once. Without delay, Ideal begins doling out orders to each detective.
社畜くんに家族くん、渋谷くん、科学くん、それに魔界くんと文学くんはこの場に残ってくれ。
Workaholic, Posh, Downtown, Techie, Mystic, and Bookworm. All of you will stay here.
私たちが離れた隙に敵はこの洋館を狙ってくるかもしれない。十分に警戒しておいてくれ。
Once we make our move, the enemy may target the manor. Be on your guard.
はい、確かに任されました。リーダー、どうかお気をつけて。
Very well. We'll handle things here. Be careful, Chief.
こちらは我々に任せろ。必ずや本陣は守り抜いてみせよう。
The base will not be breached on our watch. This, I vow.
ああ、信頼しているよ。私の愛しい探偵諸君。
Very good. I'm counting on you all, my fellow detectives.
武装君と大和君、美食君、下道君は私と共にヘリポートへ向かってほしい。
Armor, Rowdy, Gourmet, and Renegade, I want you to accompany me to the heliport.
それと、飛脚君には大和君と共にそこの高台から様子を伺ってほしい。そして何か異常があれば私に連絡を。
Doleful, get to high ground and keep watch. If anything seems amiss, contact me via D-pad immediately.
僕も同行します。
I'd like to come too. What? Doleful interrupts Holmes, his voice wavering.
声も足も震えているぞ。君のその体質でよほど恐ろしい何かを感じ取っているのだろう。
Oh? With all that trembling and shaking, question mark, just look at the state you're in. You're sensing something quite horrific, aren't you?
本当に平気なのか。大和君と共に遠くから見張ってくれているだけで十分だぞ。
Are you certain you'll be alright? Just keeping watch with Rowdy would be doing plenty.
怖いですけど、僕の名探偵体質は自分の身に危険が迫らないと発動しません。
I'm definitely afraid, but my ability only works if I myself am in danger.
だから遠目からでなく、ホームズさんの隣でちゃんと警戒したいんです。 そのために僕はこの場に来たんですから。
That's why I want to stay close, not keep my distance. That's the whole reason I'm here.
よく言ったぜ、ヒゲクの坊ちゃん。あんたのことは俺が必ず守り抜いてやっから安心しな。
Well said, little man. Don't sweat it. I've got your back, see?
僕こう見えて17歳なんだけど。
I may not look it, but I'm 17, you know.
年上かよ。すまねえ。お詫びに一発かましてやってくれ。
You're older than me. My bad. Didn't mean to patronize. Just slug me to make it even.
さて無能君、君はどうする？
As for you, incompetent, what will you do?
もしかしたら先ほどの事件よりもさらに恐ろしい目に遭うかもしれないぞ。この洋館に残るか、私と共に行くか、どうしたい？
What we discover may be even more disturbing than what we've encountered before. Will you remain at the manor, or come with us?
僕は
I will. Let me. Why? Why is it giving me a like a fake choice decision thing? It's so strange. I'm trying to think gameplay, not even gameplay wise, but like game building wise. Like this is now technically the second time they did it. The first time they did it when all three options were the same thing, I was like, okay, that's, you know, whatever, makes sense because it's an obvious choice and whatever. But this is just weird, right? Is there a real reason for it to be like this? I will go with Holmes.
ホームズさんと共に行きます。僕だってもう探偵同盟の一員ですから。
I would have picked that as well. Even if it did give me a choice of hanging back or going, I probably would have gone. I would have picked that option anyway, so it's whatever. I'll come with you, Holmes. I'm a member of the DA myself, after all.
そうか。そう言ってくれて嬉しいよ。
Right. I'm glad to hear it.
それでは探偵諸君、向かうとしようか。
All right, ladies and gentlemen, onward toward the light.
敵の罠が待ち受ける。普段の光のもとへ。
Let us see precisely what trap the enemy has laid for us. I feel an odd sense of calm on the mountain path despite the underlying tension. It's likely because I'm surrounded by so many talented detectives. As long as we're together, there's nothing we can't handle. I'm certain of it. And most importantly, Holmes is by my side. She's without a doubt the finest detective around. Her abilities are, well, ideal as the chief of a skilled bunch. We've only spent a few hours together up until now, and yet getting to experience the talents of the DA's members has been enough to eclipse even the Duke's overwhelming tyranny. Honestly speaking, no matter how fearsome this Duke is, I can't imagine these detectives could ever be defeated. Don't speak so soon. Even with the uncertainty of whatever trap our investigation may uncover, I rest assured that everything will be fine.
ヤマト君、どうだ？だいぶ降りてきたが、光の正体はつかめたか？
Well, Rowdy, we've descended quite a ways. Are you able to identify the source of that light yet?
すまねえ。輪郭は見えちゃいるんだが、何かまではまだ判別がつかねえんだ。
Nope, sorry. I can make out the outline, but no clue what it actually is.
でも、どうやらヘリコプターではなさそうだぜ。見た目はなんだか巨大なドラム缶に光る目玉がついているみてえだ。
It don't seem like no helicopter I've ever seen, though. More like a giant metal drum with a huge shiny eye on it.
巨大なドラム缶？
A giant drum? It's getting increasingly difficult to determine what that object may be. Helicopter or not, we should have been able to identify it by now. Naturally, our pace begins to quicken.
気をつけてね、理想ちゃん。なんだかとってもきな臭い香りがするわ。
Careful, Ideal. Whatever it is, it smells terrible.
そそる思考じゃないか。敵はなかなかにいいセンスをしているよ。
This scheme is making me tingle. The perp's got a real knack for this.
飛脚殿は下がっていてくれ。
I would have assumed we would like enter chapter 2 by this point, but we didn't get like a thing. Stay back, Sir Doleful. No matter what befalls us, I shall protect you all. Okay. As we talk, the light draws closer. Until... Oh, shit.
やろう。動き始めたぞ。
That sound. Shit, it started moving.
動いたって。
Moving. As Rowdy shouts, the light, which had been glowing in front of us, begins to approach. At that moment, Doleful's face goes white, and he lets out a cry beside me.
皆さん、逃げてください。
Everyone, we need to run!
これは、この気配は、逃れられない死の気配です。
My senses, they're telling me that certain death is coming.
探偵諸君、洋館まで走って戻るぞ。
Back to the manor, ladies and gentlemen, make haste! At Holmes' command, we turn our backs to the light and begin to run. In the distance, I hear an ominous mechanical sound. The noise grows louder and louder until it's bearing down upon us. When I look back, a horrific figure is practically on top of the group. Oh, everyone, I shall rendezvous with you at the manor! Armor! I hear armor heading toward the sound, but then... What is the... Armor screams echo from behind. What could have happened? We need to help him, but is there really anything I can do? What in the world is going on back there? Even if I won't make a difference, it's still better than not even trying. With my mind made up, I do an about face. The first thing I notice is Holmes, who must have just turned around herself. Then, right in my line of sight, I spot it. What is this thing? A colossal, ominous black shadow. Just as Rowdy had said, it resembles a giant metal drum. Its figure, several meters tall, looms above us. It looks down, then rushes forward while emitting a shrill mechanical noise. Wait, that's... The trauma I suffered years ago resurfaced in my mind. This is the very same thing that attacked us back then. But why is it at a DA headquarters? So that's how it is. The comment slips from Holmes' mouth, as if the presence of this thing confirmed her suspicions. She braces herself and lifts her fist before issuing her command. Don't turn back. I'll buy us some time, so you go on ahead. But... I said go. You're no match for it, even as a group. Damn moron! If anyone should be on the rear guard, it's me. Ideal is far stronger than you, Rowdy. I know it's difficult, but we should trust her on this one. This is all my fault. All because of me. Someone else is going to... Save those tears for later. We need to figure out some way to deal with this. Despite our conflicted feelings, the group begins to run. But what should I do? Can I really just leave Holmes behind? Don't tell me I failed to protect you a second time. Don't make me repeat myself. Holmes glances my way. Her profile beams with a deep, genuine happiness. You saved me once already. Now it's my turn to do the same for you. Okay. I steel myself and turn my back to Holmes. Then I take off in a sprint with every ounce of strength in my body, as if I'm running from the very reality unfolding behind me. I hear a grating, clangorous sound as if something metallic were being struck. The overbearing noise that had been pursuing us now recedes into the distance. It must be Holmes' doing. She's the chief of the DA for a reason. Surely she could hold her own against that monstrous thing. I just want a good look at whatever that thing is. Maybe, just maybe, my concern is misplaced. It'll be fine. If anyone can handle this and make it back safely, it's Holmes. It's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine.
ありがとう。ワト君。
Thank you, Watto. As if sensing Holmes' gratitude, I find myself turning around to face her. Oh! Oh no! Oh no! Hey, we got a better look at this thing. No! Jesus. Well, behind me, I see a fountain of bright crimson spray into the moonlight. It catches the light briefly before showering down on the ground below. Oh, again, a beautiful white figure suspended amid the scarlet. Her presence, which felt so imposing only a moment ago, seems insignificant now. Her limbs, once graceful, now hang like a marionette with its strings cut. The sight seems so unreal, I doubt my own eyes. However, the sounds of rending flesh and spraying blood snap me back to reality. The blades of that pitch-black monster pierce through her slender body, arcing upward into the sky with strings of red. The merciless act is repeated once, twice, 3 times in a vivid, unadulterated display of violence. Saika's body, which had barely remained standing, begins to sink limply toward the ground. I try to yell, but no words come out. My throat quakes, unable to muster the sounds. As her body slumps to the earth, my voice finally rings out. Saika-chan! Saika! Oh. Oh, shit! Oh, we got a thing! We got an intro thing! Look at that. We do get one. Alright, let's just watch. Oh, hell yeah. Well, she's dead now, so. Yeah, I remember all those happening. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I love this. Incompetent. Ah, being 32 is rough. For real? Nice. Excellent. Oh. Oh, completed chapter 1. There we go. Wait, did it say 8%? We gotta see that again. Oh no. I didn't see the percentage correctly at all. I thought I saw only 8%. I was like, wait, only 8% of people who started this game have the trophy. Alright, well, we'll cut it there then. Like I said, I can't be on super late tonight, and that even went later than I thought, because it's whatever, but it was worth it. We're technically, I think we're in chapter 2 now then. We got the official confirmation. Then we got the nice little opening trailer montage-y thing. I saved, right? How many hours did it say? 7 hours. Not bad. Alright. That'll do it for the stream tonight. Tomorrow's Thursday, so no stream. But we'll be back Friday night. Probably with another Higurashi hour. And then we'll, I could probably most likely be playing, Silk Song. I would expect this weekend to get quite a bit of Silk Song. Because I'm gonna be playing that quite a bit. Kind of haven't been playing it too much this week. Exactly, because we've been doing the Higurashi stuff, and then, like I said, I want to balance this game out with that as well. So yeah, I would say expect Silk Song quite a bit this weekend coming up. Although not impossible, we see some like Cross Elimination maybe on like Sunday or something. Who knows? But mostly this weekend and Friday, it's gonna be like some Higurashi and Silk Song. So, but I'm glad we finished chapter 1. I don't know how many chapters there are. I guess I could have looked at the trophies, but I imagine not like a million chapters. I bet it's probably going to be something similar to like a Danganronpa, so I bet. I swear I will not just keep bringing up Danganronpa, but that's just the easiest thing to compare it to, structure-wise. But I bet there's probably like 4, 5, 6, or maybe 7 chapters or something like that. Probably somewhere around there. But I'm very interested. The way that intro thing, I mean, it's quite the cliffhanger to hang on here, but something tells me that Ideal Detective's not dead, or permanently dead, or maybe it's a fake out. Seems like too much fake out. She seems like too much of an important character to die like that right there. You know what I mean? Something doesn't seem right. And she seemed to be even more important. I mean, even more important. Obviously, she seems like an important character to the whole thing, but even more important and more that she has to give to the narrative based on that, like, that opening movie. So I bet there's something still going on. But we'll have to wait till next time. It's impossible. The only way you're not allowed to watch anyone else playing this game. If you've already committed into 3 parts of this, don't go looking up what happens next someone else. You're either stuck with me playing at a glacial pace, or you buy the game yourself and read ahead of me. Those are the rules. I must enforce them. Alright, no stream tomorrow. Be back Friday night with a little bit of Higurashi and Silk Song mostly. Until then, have a nice rest of your Wednesday. Have a great rest of your week. Stay safe. Definitely stay safe. Stay well. Be back Friday. Till then.